What's up, everybody? It's Saturday. I'm on a time crunch. I haven't been filming that much solely because it just takes a lot of time to position the camera and everything like that. And this car is not really the focus of the series. The Mustang will be. So that's going to be a lot more detailed. So right now I had the motor in, I got all the headers in, I got the exhaust bolted up, I got the drive shaft in, I got the Holley ECU pretty much 90% wired up. I have to wire up the electric fans for the radiator, run some new radiator hose because the LS3 pump, the inlet is over here instead of over here. Just a couple little things. Probably in about 2 hours I should be ready to fire this thing up. I got to prime the motor. I'll go in detail how to do that, and let's get to it. Alright guys, so I'm about to prime the new motor. It's got a new oil pump, it's got new everything, so I just want to make sure everything's lubed before I start it for the first time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use pressurized oil, infuse it into the block, and then it will circulate, and then it will eventually come out on the rocker arms. So this is the setup I used. I used low dollar motorsport pressure sensors, and they have this adapter. Let's see if I get this to focus. So this basically plugs into the back of the motor, and you have a 1/8 thread pitch on the top. So this screws into the block itself, and then your new pressure sensor is going to screw right down into that. I was going to use a GM one, but the Holley harness didn't accept that plug, so I had a low dollar motorsport oil sensor already. So this is what I'm doing. When you order those, order 2 of these, because if you're doing a fresh build, you always want to pre-lube your engine. So obviously I have this set up in the back of the motor, but basically what I did is, I'm not sure if you can see, I'll point to it. There's a right there in that oil galley. You unplug that, and then this, let's see if we can get that, will screw right in. So you have 1/8 inch going into there, then you have 1/8 inch to 1/4 thread pitch adapter, and then you have a 1/4 inch to I think it's a 1/4 inch diameter barb. So what that's going to do is this. Okay, so that barb is going to go into this tube right here, just like this. All right, so it just slides right on. This is just a Ace Hardware sprayer, and I adapted a tubeless air chuck for a car. I just basically drill the hole and then put it in there, pull it tight, and it seals it. You keep this closed, and basically you get I think this is this is 5/16 tubing. So you basically take out the wand that you would normally use. There's lots of videos on YouTube about this. That's where I got the idea. But you basically hook up this hose to the interior portion of the tank, and you can physically pump the oil in with your hand, or you could take this air chuck, use your compressor, fill it up with air, and then it will do it itself. So let me show you how this threads in. All right, so basically, just take this sucker. It's not super high pressure, so I mean, you can cinch it down if you want to, but I'm just gonna put it down hand tight, as tight as I can. Take my tubing right here, and I'm just going to demonstrate how it's going to go with the hand pump. As you can see, the oil's coming. All the way down, and that goes all the way in, but that's going and it's actually leaking. So I'm going to have to put a clamp on that barb This hose is a little bit too big for it. Alright, so I secured that. Now it shouldn't leak anymore. I went to fill this canister with compressed air and then realized that my chuck is broken. So I guess I'm going to do this by hand. Not a big deal. Okay, so as you can see, everything's pre-lubed. We're still waiting on this one, maybe two, but it's coming. And then on the other side, that one's going, that one's going. Those are all going. So just waiting on the other two. Should be done shortly. But as you're doing this, just remember to crank over the engine. That way everything gets to oil. All right, so I skipped a bunch of stuff because I am rushing to get this thing started. So I had everything configured in the Holley Terminator, updated all the firmware. It was a pain in the butt, but we're gonna get this thing started for the first time and let's see how it goes. As you can see, the system's bleeding. Oil pressure is solid. I'm pretty amazed. Temp's going up though. I gotta get the system bled. Okay, so I had to turn it off. It was starting to get a little hot. I'm gonna see if this drains into the system. As you can see, the header wrap is smoking, which the instructions said it would. So I'm not worried about that, but I don't see any oil leaks or coolant leaks anywhere. So once this gets drained, I think we're gonna be in good shape. So it seems like the brand new motor is running good. I'm very shocked because it's the first time I've ever done something like that. Started right up. I'm gonna take it to the dyno tomorrow to get tuned, but there's no leaks anywhere. Everything is running good. That cam sounds awesome. Woo! Alright, so the process for breaking the motor in is done. I let it idle for 20 minutes, get up the temperature, let it sit for an hour, then I let it idle for another 20 minutes, get up the temperature. My tuner said that's all we need to do before we get on the dyno. And so hopefully everything goes well tomorrow. I will be back when I'm at the dyno, and I'll take some video there, see how much power it makes. Alright, I just called and they said they can get me on the dyno. Fortunately it's raining, I have no windshield wipers and no AC, so this is going to be a fun ride over. Okay, so visibility is pretty bad, but we'll see. I got a towel so I can wipe the windshield, and luckily it's only a couple miles away, so I won't have to drive too long. Okay, so done with the dyno. A little disappointed. And only made 450 of the wheels, which I mean is more than enough in this car for how light this car is. It was kind of weird. The power was peaking at 6,000 RPMs when supposedly, according to Summit, their stage 3 cam goes all the way up to 7. So definitely some power left on the table. But for whatever reason, it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. The car runs good. It's wet outside, so I tried taking it for a ride, and it's just spinning all over the place. So when it dries up, I'm going to take it out, and I'll get some video of that. But overall, so, I'm pretty happy. The car was running good. That's the number one thing. So the oil pressure was like 80 at 7,000 RPMs, which I'm ecstatic about. So yeah, I we'll be doing some other mods to this car in the next video. Got a big brake kit, bigger rotors, some race pads, sway bars, and a couple other things I'm going to be doing it before I get to the track.